The Folk Tales of the Mt.Backdu. Hello. Today I am going to tell of the story of the pill of the eternal life in the Oxerbong Peak. The Oxerbong Peak, which is 2,525 meters above sea level, is one of the 16 base peaks of the Mt.Backdu and is located in the south of the Cheonji. This mountain peak is also called a snowy mountain because there is more than 3 meters of snow piled up all along 4 seasons. Underneath the peak is formed by a thick layer of ice. In this layer of ice, soft steam arises mildly. When people see it, they say that the hermits roast the pills of the eternal life. The forest had been grown thick and in rank in the Mt.Backdu, but all the creatures were buried alive because of the bursting of the volcanic eruption. There were no scenes where animals ran everywhere, nor people talking to each other. However, whether the help of the celestial god or the terrestrial god, only Geun-young survived by luck after the disaster that the sky and the earth turned upside down. Faced with barren lands and desolate fields, he was barely living on the edge of subsistence. One day, a oriental dollarbird came with flapping its wings and chirped with pleasure and chirruped and fluttered in front of Geun-young. Geun-young, who could not see the living beings, was tearfully pleased with the oriental dollarbird. In the state of the lack of any definite plan, he followed the bird as it flew away. The bird that flew away in front of him waited for him to come and flew again. Geun-young had an odd idea. He wanted to test something. Thus, he did not follow the bird and turned back and walked the way he came. So soon, the oriental dollarbird flew in front of him and blocked his way and prevented him from going. Geun-young considered the intentions of oriental dollarbird, and he followed that bird and walked a day and night. He followed the bird to a cave. In the cave, barley ears were piled up in a heap. He did not know who brought them. Beside it was a springs that was filled with clean water like jade. The oriental dollarbird flew to one corner and called Geun-young with screeching. Geun-young went to the corner and saw a virgin fell down unconscious. Even when he shook the nearly breathless virgin, she could not wake up. A virgin's life was in jeopardy. He kept up his spirits and firmly paid attention to rescue the virgin. He gathered some branches and made a fire with them. He took a hollow stone and made a stone kiln of it. He peeled grains of barley and began to boil the thin barley gruel using that stone kiln. The oriental dollarbird also helped Geun-young. It peeled the grains of barley and agile. As the porridge boiled, Geun-young made a wooden spoon. He scooped up porridge with a wooden spoon from that stone kiln and put it one spoonful by one spoonful into the virgin's mouth. The virgin swallowed the watery gruel slowly. After a quarter of a day, the virgin began to have a complexion on her face which had been as white as a sheet, and her feeble and uneven breathing settled and began to even. In order to save the life of a virgin, Geun-young spared no pains to care for her day and night. He was very tired and fell asleep smoothly. There was a deep scent somewhere, and a white-haired old man appeared in front of him with a dark red cane.
That virgin barely escaped death. If you want to get rid of her illness, you have to get the pill of the eternal life in the Oxerbong peak.
Geun-young tried to ask more details, but a white-haired old man floated into the sky and flew away, getting on the clouds. Geun-young was anxious, calling old man,
"Grandfather, grandfather."
and awoke. Geun-young was hell-bent on curing the virgin and decided to get the pill of the eternal life in the Oxerbong peak. He stepped out of the cave, but he felt at a loss because he did not even know where Oxerbong peak was. At this time, the Oriental Dollarbird came with flapping its wings and served as a guide of him. Geun-young followed the Oriental Dollarbird and walked and walked. A high mountain of fantastic rocks and odd cliffs spread in front of him. The higher he climbed, the steeper mountain became. Weaker he was, and shorter his breath was. When he looked up at it, it seemed to be a last peak, so he climbed high with an unyielding spirit, sweating flowingly. But as soon as he was all up, another peak appeared in front of him. He climbed 49 peaks, which were not the really peaks like this. The 50th peak was sprinkling the brilliant silver white over the sky. It was a rare and precious, majestic and beautiful place made up of jagged cliffs that seemed to be hardened with ice and formed of white jade. Geun-young on the peak looked around and found a silver-white palace in the mountains. The armful pillars of white jade were painted with beautiful scenery of mountains and streams, and on the spotless wall of white jade was a drawing in which the figure was depicted that hermits were roasting the pills of the eternal life. Geun-young felt both mysterious and fearful. He had only a wholehearted wish that he must cure the virgin through getting the pill of eternal life in the Oxerbong peak, so he eased his own fears and walked into that palace as it is. As he passed the first door, he smelled a deep scent of medicine, and he passed 3 doors, cautiously and slowly. In the 3rd cell, a white-haired old man who had come to his dream and let him get the pill of the eternal life from the Oxerbong peak and had him put in it to the virgin was sitting on a jade seat covered with tiger skin. Geun-young knelt down and talked about the case why he came here. The white-haired old man was laughing out loud with sweeping down his white beard.
"I've been waiting for you here. I knew you'd come. If you take these pills and put in them to the virgin one by every 3 days, whole disease of her will disappear."
The white-haired old man took out 3 Oxer pills from his sleeve and gave them to Geun-young. Geun-young took the medicine politely with both hands and bending his back expressed his gratitude to white-haired old man. And he went into his way back. When he got out of the palace, he floated into the sky spontaneously. He felt strange, so he looked down at his feet and found himself that he was standing on a jade tray big as a wooden bowl. Beneath the jade tray, the mountain peaks were slowly receding. The Oriental Dollarbird, that had been good at guiding, sat on his shoulder. Of course, he did not know how that bird had flown in. After half an hour or so, Geun-young reached the cave where the virgin was lying. He got off the jade tray, and as soon as he entered the cave, he dissolved the medicine in the spring water and put it into the virgin's mouth. The virgin opened her eyes and looked around all over the place, and he found Geun-young and struggled to get up, but her body was not at her own disposal. On the 3rd day, the virgin who took the medicine for the 2nd time sat up. She looked ashamed and gave thanks to Geun-young who saved her life. Geun-young told the case to the Virgin why he came to this cave and how he went to the Oxerbong peak and brought that medicine. The Virgin choked with deep emotion and held back her tears. The Virgin said that when the volcano erupted, she was placed on a clod and flew up into the air, and that as she collected her mind and took a look around, she was here. Another 3 days passed. The Virgin who took the third pill got over her illness on the spot and recovered her body. The Oriental Dollarbird saw the Virgin and the Bachelor were working together, laughing at each other, and continuously carried the barley ears through its snout for 3 days, stacked them in the cave, and flew away somewhere. A year later, when the Oriental Dollarbird flew back to the cave, the barley was growing green in front of that cave, and there was a thatched house next to that cave. In that thatched house, Geun-young and the woman laid a precious baby between themselves and were laughing happily